Story 1. I don't even know where to start. My wife and I have been married for just over 18 years. The first several years were really good. We were really close, loved hanging out together, etc. I honestly gave my very best effort to be good, loving, supportive, romantic, etc. I'm a good provider. I'm a very involved father of 3. I do lots of household chores as well. I'm not perfect, I know. And I'm not trying to brag about myself, but I can take a very honest, introspective look at myself and be certain that I have been as good to her as I can be. One of the biggest issues for me for most of our relationship has been her disinterest in sex. She knows it's meaningful to me to be close and intimate with her, but she just doesn't want it. She has told me she only does it for me, and that if something ever happened to me, she would never have sex again. So that has been difficult for me to process. Trying to figure out how to try and have intimacy with someone who actively tells me she doesn't want it. Several years ago, we started to have some issues. She started saying some very unkind things to me and about me to her friends and family. I also started to feel very taken advantage of. I was asked to do more and more around the house. And anytime I voiced my concern, it was met with, well, I can't do everything around here. I also noticed that anytime I tried to share my feelings of frustration, or if I was upset about something she said or did, the answer was, well, I didn't mean it that way. You're just too sensitive. Or you just took it wrong. Never any accountability. Never any acceptance or validation of my feelings. We went to counseling, but she quit going after the second session because she felt like the female counselor and I were ganging up on her. I went a couple more times, but decided to just try and work on things at home with her. A few years go by, and while nothing got better, there wasn't really any change either way. Then we had a pretty big fight, and I told her I didn't know how to fix things with her. If I couldn't share my feelings with her, I suggested counseling again, but she didn't want to go. I told her that if we didn't do counseling, I didn't see any future together, so we went to counseling a second time, but only went to 5 to 6 sessions before she stopped going again. A year ago, my father passed away. I was devastated. He was my rock. He and I were so close. It was an extremely difficult time for me. He passed away on a Tuesday morning. I called my wife and told her what happened, and that I was heading home. Surprisingly, she never joined me. She continued working all week. I went to the funeral home alone to arrange his service, to take his burial clothes, to give the funeral home the few items to set up in memory of him. As I walked out of the funeral home, I just broke down. It was absolutely the worst feeling in the world, to be in that much pain, and to be doing it alone. I later found out that she messaged one of our mutual friends and told her that she was actively ignoring me because I was just being short and she didn't want to be around me. So now, here we are, no closer to things being any better. And I just found out that several years ago, my wife had at least a long-term emotional affair with one guy, and had a sexual relationship with another guy. Apparently she invited this other guy over to our house when I was out of town for work, and had sex in our house. All this from the woman who constantly reminds me how much she hates. I'm devastated. I honestly have no idea how to get through tomorrow or the next day. We have 3 kids. I keep thinking I need to stick it out for them. That's the primary reason I haven't left yet. But I just don't think I can do it anymore.
First comment.
You are teaching by example what a relationship should look like. Don't stick around for the kids. It will just cause them more pain in the end. You deserve love and you deserve respect. You will never truly get either from your so-called wife. I lived through similar and I gave my ex 3 chances, which were honestly 3 more than she deserved. Pulled a band-aid. You will be happier down the road. Reach out if you need. It's rough. I have never felt more pain than the emotional trauma that all of this caused.
Second comment.
First thing I would do is have the kids' DNA tested. Even if it doesn't matter to you, she needs to face the reality of her lies and cheating. All this time of denying you, she may have been giving it to someone else. How did you find out? How do you know it's only 2? I wouldn't stick around for the kids, because the animosity you feel towards her will make for a truly uncomfortable situation. The kids will feel it, Make an exit plan and get out. Get a lawyer and let your STBXW that divorce will happen. Follow your lawyer's advice regarding moving out, since it might be a bad idea and could be considered abandonment. But let her know her abusive treatment is over. It's a lot harder to be walked on when you are standing up. Story 2. Me 32 and my wife 30 of 13 years and for kids 13,119. 6 have had troubles in our marriage, from infidelity, her end, or flirting but never getting to infidelity, on my end, trust issues, and me not being very emotionally available, none which is excusable. Some of the trust issues and my emotional availability are work-related due to my job, but also due to what she's done in the past, which was due to her not getting enough attention from me. On my end, the last 2 years have been great with no issues, and life was going good. Bought our first house. On August 11th, she came home, and we got into an argument, which I wasn't very available to and didn't respond well as far as I pushed everything off, and said we are good and okay. It was not okay. She left that night with the kids and went to her parents. That weekend was be bombarding her with text asking her to come home so we can talk and fix everything. I was upset she ran to her parents instead of fixing our issue at home. She came home Sunday. We kissed, cuddled, but something was off. She wanted counseling and I was in. I even sent her flowers during the week and attempted to set up a date with her for the weekend, but something was still off. She left me a letter on Wednesday the 16th stating she wanted a divorce. I was shattered, saying she appreciates my efforts, but she's done and doesn't want to fix anything. That it's too little too late and I would fix something for a few weeks and we would go back to normal. I admit, in the past I didn't want to do counseling with her and life probably did get back to routine, but I loved her every day and never changed my mind, even if I may not have shown it to her, which she needed and deserved. Well, this time I am for real and would do anything to get her back at. However, she won't let me do anything. All the blame was put on me on the divorce request. Well, that Friday, 2 days after the letter, she went on a date and kissed a guy from her work in a kissing booth at an aquarium. I didn't find that out until later. The next few weeks she would spend less time at home and longer nights after work away. New lifestyle changes and random excuses to go out of the house. Many red flags and even the kids wondering why mommy was never home. On September 8th she filed for divorce and started the 90-day waiting period. Well, on the 10th of September, after another long night away and some excuse of going out with friend, all the red flags and my gut had enough, I checked a backpack belonging to her in our room. There was the dated picture of her kissing another guy. Everything now added up. I confronted her that night when she got home, and she blamed me for snooping and being nosy. I wasn't supposed to find out, and she didn't intend to hurt me. She left the house shortly after being confronted and went to stay the night at his house and in his bed, which she told me a day or two later and admitted to he and her being out all day on a date and drinking act. Also, before the argument in August, she had extended Walmart trip and a movie trip that to be she probably was with the guy, and phone records show she's been talking to him since at least July 20th on a consistent basis. I wasn't worried about another man because I thought we were good though and ignored the signs. Anyways, since then she said she would stop seeing him until after the divorce, which was a lie because the day she said that 2 days after being confronted, she was with him at Walmart again, but lied again to my face until she came clean a few hours later. I'm glad I didn't see them together even though I wanted to. But the entire past few months have been filled with lies from her. She's been in constant communication even after all of this and told me she really likes an act as if she's obsessed with him, and they both intend that are gonna be officially together immediately after the divorce is final. She's moved out and got her freedom to do whatever she pleases on 22nd of Sept. Of course that comes with freedom to do whatever she wants with dude. I've continued to try and pursue her, talk to her, express my feelings, and hang on to any hope. My mental health has took a beating, and my kids are also struggling through this. She tries shifting the focus off of the other guy, stating that the divorce and the relationship are two separate things. I personally believe she's trying to salvage a future with him at this point so her parents and others accept him, Because I told them the truth about what she's done, because before this, it was all my fault and I was being treated differently. Since her move out, she wanted me to stop talking to her parents about stuff, most likely due to them confronting her and her feeling guilty on what she's probably still doing. Trust has been broke during this very badly, so it what to believe her about with anything now. So I'm assuming she's doing the worst and trying to hide it underground from everyone. That would tell her she's wrong. I find myself Googling if this will end or if she will come back. I'm crazy about her and want to fix everything and give her everything she's ever wanted, but she said she don't love me anymore, isn't emotionally attached, and that she doesn't want to try or intend to try or ever see us ever being together again.
First comment.
General advice that's helped me over the years. Emotions and logic can be out of sync. Logic's foundation isn't what's truth. That will carry you to peace in extremely complicated emotions. If you figure out what you know and what the right decision is. Emotions are extremely important, don't get me wrong. I just think facts guide them, keep them in check, and should take the lead when walking that tightrope. Almost like a tightrope in a hurricane, it seems at times. There's also been times where I've had to go with my instincts and gut emotions without all the facts. It's hard. You've got to trust yourself, most importantly.
Second comment.
Every time I have heard women excuse the guy of not being available emotionally or saying there are issues with you, and then cheat. Then what's really gone on here, Jace? She is trying to justify the fact she doesn't want to be with you and she has checked out and no longer cares. She's the one who has done you dirty, and so don't take any of it as a criticism from her.